While the rest of the world chases new diets and fitness trends, the Amish quietly live by habits that have kept them strong for generations. These 25 time-tested tricks reveal how simplicity, balance, and daily rhythm can create real, lasting health. No gadgets, no gimmicks, just wisdom that works. And once you understand how they do it, you'll see why modern wellness often misses the point. Early rising with purpose. The Amish don't set alarms. They don't need motivational quotes plastered on their walls either. For them, waking up before the sun is just how life works. It's not about being productive or getting ahead of some imaginary competition. It's about rhythm. When you live without electricity and artificial light dictating your schedule, your body naturally syncs with the world around you. The moment daylight creeps over the horizon, their day begins. No snooze button, no scrolling through notifications, just a quiet start that sets the tone for everything else. This isn't some trendy wellness hack they picked up from a podcast. It's been their way for generations. Waking early aligns their internal clock with natural light cycles, which keeps their hormones balanced. Cortisol, the stress hormone, peaks naturally in the morning to wake you up. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, drops as sunlight hits your eyes. The Amish let nature handle this process instead of fighting it with caffeine and late-night screen glow. Their bodies know when to be awake and when to rest because they follow the same pattern every single day. Most people need coffee to function in the morning. The Amish just need a rooster with good timing. The benefits go beyond just feeling awake. Early risers tend to have better digestion because their bodies have time to prepare for food. Breakfast isn't rushed. It's eaten when the body is actually ready for it. Their energy levels stay steady throughout the day because they're not starting from a sleep-deprived deficit. There's no midday crash that requires another cup of coffee or a sugary snack to push through. They simply move through their day with a natural flow that most people have forgotten exists. What's interesting is that they don't need discipline to maintain this schedule. There's no willpower involved. When you go to bed as the sun sets and wake as it rises, your body just adapts. The consistency is what matters. Modern sleep science backs this up completely. Studies show that people who wake at the same time every day, even on weekends, have better sleep quality and fewer health issues. The Amish figured this out centuries ago without any research papers. They just lived it, and their bodies responded. Walking as daily medicine. Most people think exercise means joining a gym or following some intense workout program. They count reps, track calories, and measure progress with apps. The Amish don't do any of that. They walk, not for exercise, but because walking is how they get anywhere. From the house to the barn, from the barn to the fields, from their home to a neighbor's place down the road, every single trip happens on foot. No cars, no shortcuts, just steady movement from point A to point B. The numbers are staggering when you look at them. The average Amish man walks somewhere between 14,000 and 18,000 steps every single day. That's roughly 7 to 9 miles. Not on a treadmill staring at a wall, but across real terrain with purpose behind every step. They're carrying tools, guiding animals, checking crops, visiting family. Each walk has a reason, which makes it feel less like exercise and more like living. There's no mental resistance because they're not forcing themselves to move. It's just part of the day. This constant, low-intensity movement does something remarkable for the body. Joints stay lubricated and flexible because they're being used consistently. Muscles don't atrophy because they're engaged throughout the day. Blood sugar remains stable because walking helps process glucose without spiking insulin. Cardiovascular health improves naturally since the heart is getting steady. Moderate work instead of sudden bursts followed by hours of sitting. The Amish don't suffer from the same rates of diabetes, obesity, or heart disease that plague modern society, and walking is a massive part of why. What makes their approach so effective is the consistency. They're not doing one intense workout and then sitting for the rest of the week. They're moving all day, every day, at a pace their bodies can sustain for decades. There's no burnout, no injuries from overtraining, no dreading the next session. Walking becomes as automatic as breathing. Their bodies are built for endurance, not explosive power, and that's exactly what keeps them healthy into old age. Movement isn't scheduled. It's just life. Real food, not processed. Everything the Amish eat starts with soil. Not a factory, not a processing plant, not a warehouse with fluorescent lights. actual dirt that grows actual food. Their meals come from gardens they planted, animals they raised, and recipes passed down through families. There's no ingredient list to decode because there aren't any ingredients. Just milk, eggs, vegetables, grains, and meat. Nothing has been stripped, enriched, fortified, or chemically altered to extend shelf life. If it doesn't grow or come from something that eats what grows, it doesn't make it to their table. This isn't a diet trend for them. It's not keto, paleo, or plant-based. It's just how food has always been. They don't avoid processed food because they read a study about inflammation or gut health. They avoid it because it doesn't exist in their world. Refined sugar? Not in the pantry. Preservatives? No need when you eat what you harvest. Artificial flavors? Why would you want food to taste like something it's not? Their approach to eating is so simple, it sounds radical by modern standards. Some people spend more time reading food labels than the Amish spend growing the actual food. The balance in their meals comes naturally. Carbohydrates from grains like wheat, oats, and corn provide energy for long days of physical work. Fats from butter, lard, and cream keep them satisfied and support hormone production. Protein from eggs, chicken, beef, and pork builds and repairs muscle. Vegetables add fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Nothing is demonized or worshipped. They eat a bit of everything because that's what makes sense when you're working hard and need real fuel. Cooking is a slow process, and meals are eaten together. There's no grabbing something quick and eating it in the car. No microwave dinners in front of a screen. Food is prepared with care, shared with family, and enjoyed without distraction. This makes digestion easier because the body isn't in a stressed state while eating. It also builds connection, which has its own health benefits. The Amish understand that food isn't just fuel. It's a ritual that brings people together and keeps life grounded in something real. The only product we'll ever promote on our channel is a book by Claude Davis, a veteran prepper, about 126 superfoods and preservation methods from crisis times like the Great Depression and wartime that are impossible to find elsewhere. We decided to promote his book because we are the last generation able to share these techniques and superfoods to our children or grandchildren. It would be a shame to see this information about highly nutritious foods and preservation methods to survive crises disappear. You can also find a book about herbal remedies from Nicole Apelian on their store. If you're watching this on TV, you can look up our channel, Frugal Solutions, on your phone or tablet and find the books by clicking the link in our channel description or any other video description. Slow cooking, better digestion. Amish kitchens don't move fast. There's no microwave countdown, no air fryer beeping, no instant anything. Meals simmer for hours in heavy cast iron pots over wood-burning stoves. Soups thicken slowly. Stews develop deep flavors as ingredients break down. Roasts become tender without rushing. This isn't about convenience, it's about letting heat do its work gently, which changes how the body processes what you eat. Slow cooking breaks down tough fibers in vegetables and meat, making nutrients easier to absorb. Collagen in bones dissolves into gelatin, which supports joint and gut health. Minerals from the cast iron leach into the food, adding trace amounts of iron that many people lack. The low, steady heat preserves vitamins that would be destroyed by high-temperature cooking methods. Every hour that pot sits simmering is making the food more digestible and nutrient-dense. The Amish don't know the science behind it, but their bodies do. They also use fats that modern nutrition has spent decades demonizing. Lard from pigs, butter from cream, tallow from beef. These are stable fats that don't break down into harmful compounds when heated. Compare that to industrial seed oils that oxidize under heat and create inflammation. The Amish never stopped using animal fats because they never had a reason to. Those fats kept their grandparents healthy, so why change? Turns out they were right. Recent research has started walking back decades of bad advice about saturated fats, but the Amish never needed convincing. Meals feel earned because they take effort. You can't rush a pot roast or a slow-cooked casserole. The time invested makes the food more satisfying, not just physically, but mentally. There's a respect for the process that carries over into how they eat. No one inhales their food because it took hours to prepare. They sit, they talk, they chew properly. Digestion starts in the mouth, and when you're not racing through a meal, your stomach has an easier time handling what comes next. The Amish eat slower, digest better, and waste less energy dealing with food their bodies can't process. Natural sleep. Without gadgets, when the sun sets on an Amish farm, the day winds down naturally. No glowing screens, no endless scrolling, no notifications pulling attention in every direction. Their homes grow dark because there's no artificial light keeping things bright. Candles or oil lamps might flicker for an hour or two, but eventually those go out too. The darkness isn't something to fight, it's a signal that the day is over and rest is coming. Their bodies respond to that signal the way human bodies have for thousands of years. Modern sleep problems are almost always tied to light exposure. Blue light from phones, tablets, and televisions tricks the brain into thinking it's still daytime. Melatonin production gets suppressed, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. The Amish don't deal with this because they're not exposed to it. When the sun goes down, their environment supports rest instead of fighting it. Their circadian rhythm stays intact because nothing disrupts it. They don't need melatonin supplements or blackout curtains. Darkness is just the default. Before bed, many Amish read scripture or write in journals. It's quiet, reflective, and doesn't stimulate the brain the way screens do. This kind of winding down helps transition from the activity of the day to the stillness of sleep. The mind processes thoughts, releases tension, and settles into rest mode. Compare that to watching a fast-paced show or reading stressful news right before trying to sleep. The Amish approach creates mental calm, which makes falling asleep effortless. They also follow a consistent sleep schedule. Same bedtime, same wake time, every single day. No sleeping in on weekends because there's no such thing as a weekend for them. This regularity keeps their internal clock stable, which improves sleep quality dramatically. Deep sleep cycles become predictable, and the body enters restorative stages more easily. They wake up refreshed not because they slept more, but because they slept better. The consistency does more for their energy levels than any amount of caffeine ever could. Sleep isn't something they struggle with, it's just another natural part of their rhythm. Farming as functional fitness. The Amish don't lift weights, but their bodies look like they do. Shoulders stay broad, arms stay strong, and backs stay stable well into their 70s. The reason is simple. Their daily work is a full-body workout disguised as chores. Lifting hay bales builds grip strength and engages the core. Chopping wood works the shoulders, arms, and legs. Carrying water buckets challenges balance and endurance. Pushing a plow strengthens the posterior chain. Every task requires multiple muscle groups working together, which is exactly how the body is designed to move. These aren't isolated exercises done in a gym with mirrors and motivational posters. They're compound movements performed with real weight and real purpose. The body doesn't care if you're doing a deadlift or hauling a sack of feed. It just responds to resistance. The difference is that farming never feels like exercise. There's no mental resistance because the work has to get done. No one is dreading leg day when the animals need feeding. The movement happens naturally, consistently, and without the psychological barrier that makes people skip workouts. Gym memberships have a cancellation rate higher than most marriages. Cows, however, still need to be milked every single day. Even the elderly stay active because there's always something to do. Lighter tasks like tending the garden, mending clothes, or gathering eggs keep them moving. They're not sitting in a recliner watching television for hours. Their bodies stay engaged, which keeps joints mobile and muscles functional. Studies show that people who remain physically active into old age maintain independence longer and have fewer chronic health issues. The Amish prove this without needing any studies. Their lifestyle naturally includes the movement their bodies need to stay strong. What's interesting is how this builds resilience over time. The work isn't easy, but it's sustainable. There's no overtraining, no pushing through injury to hit a personal record. If something hurts, they adjust. If they're tired, they pace themselves. The body adapts gradually, getting stronger without breaking down. This approach creates long-term fitness that doesn't fade when life gets busy. They don't get back in shape because they never fall out of it. Movement is built into their existence, so their bodies never have a reason to decline. Cold air therapy. The Amish way. Amish homes aren't heated the way modern houses are. No central heating blasting warm air into every room. No thermostat set to a constant 72 degrees. Wood stoves provide heat, but only in the rooms where people gather. Bedrooms stay cool, sometimes cold, especially in winter. They don't see this as a hardship. It's just how homes are. The body adapts to cooler air, and that adaptation brings real health benefits that modern comfort has trained people to miss. Exposure to cold improves circulation because blood vessels constrict and then dilate to regulate body temperature. This process keeps the cardiovascular system active and responsive. The immune system also gets a boost. Cold exposure triggers the production of white blood cells, which fight off infections. The Amish aren't getting sick as often as people who live in perfectly climate-controlled environments. Their bodies are constantly adjusting to temperature changes, which keeps their defenses sharp. They believe fresh air heals better than any pill, and they might be onto something. Stuffy, overheated rooms trap stale air and create environments where bacteria and viruses thrive. Cold, fresh air does the opposite. It circulates, clears out, and discourages pathogens. Sleeping in a cool room also improves sleep quality because the body needs to lower its core temperature to enter deep sleep. When the room is too warm, that process gets disrupted. The Amish sleep in cooler spaces and wake up more rested because their bodies can drop into the temperature range that supports deep rest. Cold mornings toughen the body in ways that comfort never could. Getting out of bed into a cold room isn't pleasant, but it wakes you up fast. No grogginess, no lying there scrolling for 20 minutes. The cold forces alertness. Over time, the body becomes more resilient to discomfort. This isn't about suffering for the sake of it. It's about maintaining a level of hardiness that makes everyday challenges easier to handle. The Amish aren't fragile. Their bodies are conditioned to handle fluctuations in temperature, effort, and environment without falling apart. That resilience is built one cold morning at a time. Herbal home remedies. When someone in an Amish household feels off, the first stop isn't a pharmacy. It's the garden or the cupboard where dried herbs are stored. Comfrey for bruises and sprains, mint for upset stomachs, echinacea for colds. These aren't trendy supplements bought online. They're plants grown, harvested, and prepared at home. Salves are mixed with beeswax and oils. Teas are brewed fresh. Tinctures are steeped in alcohol for weeks to extract medicinal compounds. Every remedy has been used for generations, and every family knows the recipes by heart. Some people panic when they run out of ibuprofen. The Amish just pick more mint. The approach is simple. Treat symptoms early before they turn into something worse. A scratchy throat gets a dose of elderberry syrup. A minor burn gets aloe. A cough gets honey and lemon. They don't wait for things to escalate. The goal is to support the body's natural healing process, not suppress symptoms with chemicals that mask the problem. This doesn't mean they reject modern medicine. Serious injuries and illnesses get professional care. But for everyday discomforts, plants do the job without side effects or dependency. What makes this effective is consistency. They don't reach for herbs once in a while when nothing else works. It's the default. The body learns to respond to these natural compounds because they're used regularly. Inflammation gets managed with anti-inflammatory herbs. Digestion gets supported with bitters and teas. Immune function stays strong with adaptogens and antimicrobials. The Amish aren't fighting their biology. They're working with it using plants that have co-evolved with humans for thousands of years. There's also something to be said for the act of preparing remedies. Mixing a salve or brewing tea requires attention and care. It slows things down and creates a moment of mindfulness. You're not just swallowing a pill and moving on. You're engaging with the process of healing. That mental shift matters. It reminds you that health isn't something you buy. It's something you tend to, just like a garden. The Amish understand that taking care of the body is a daily practice, not a crisis response. Simplicity reduces stress. The Amish own less, and because of that, they worry less. No credit card debt, no car payments, no mortgage hanging over their heads. Most of what they need, they make or grow themselves. Clothes are simple and handmade. Homes are built with help from the community. Food comes from the land. When your life isn't tangled up in financial obligations, stress drops dramatically. There's no scrambling to make ends meet or working extra hours to afford things that don't actually improve life. Clutter doesn't exist in Amish homes because they don't accumulate stuff. Every item has a purpose. If it's not useful or meaningful, it doesn't stay. This physical simplicity keeps the mind clear. Studies show that cluttered environments increase cortisol levels and make it harder to focus. The Amish avoid this entirely. Their spaces are clean, organized, and calm. Walking into an Amish home feels peaceful because there's nothing competing for your attention. No piles of mail, no gadgets charging on every surface, no reminders of things left undone. Living debt-free and self-reliant gives them control over their time. They're not working jobs they hate to pay for things they don't need. Their work serves their life, not the other way around. This creates a sense of freedom that most people never experience. They can slow down when needed. They can take time to help a neighbor. They can spend an afternoon repairing something instead of replacing it. There's no rush because there's no pressure. Peace isn't something they chase on vacation. It's built into their daily rhythm. This simplicity extends to decisions. Fewer choices mean less mental fatigue. They're not comparing 50 brands of cereal or scrolling endlessly through entertainment options. Meals are straightforward. Clothing is uniform. Entertainment is community-based. Decision fatigue is a real thing, and the Amish avoid it by keeping life uncomplicated. Their brains aren't overloaded with trivial choices, so they have more mental energy for what actually matters. Stress isn't eliminated, but it's managed in a way that doesn't consume them. Simplicity isn't deprivation, it's clarity. Faith as mental strength. Faith shapes how the Amish see the world, and that perspective has measurable effects on their mental health. Prayer happens daily, often multiple times. It's not performative or rushed. It's a quiet, intentional practice that centers the mind and reduces anxiety. Studies on prayer and meditation show similar results. Both lower stress hormones, slow heart rate, and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. The Amish aren't praying because they read a wellness blog. They're praying because it's part of their belief system, and the mental benefits come along naturally. Their faith also teaches acceptance. Not every situation can be controlled, and fighting against that reality creates suffering. The Amish accept hardship without spiraling into panic or resentment. This doesn't mean they're passive. They work hard to solve problems, but when something is beyond their control, they let it go. This mental flexibility protects them from the chronic stress that comes from trying to micromanage every outcome. Acceptance isn't giving up. It's recognizing what's worth the energy and what isn't. Community worship strengthens social bonds, which is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. Loneliness is as harmful to health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to research. The Amish don't experience isolation. They're surrounded by people who share their values, support their struggles, and celebrate their joys. Regular gatherings reinforce these connections. Singing together, sharing meals, working side by side. These aren't just nice experiences. They're protective factors that reduce depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. Purpose is another piece of the puzzle. Faith gives them a framework for understanding their place in the world. Life isn't random or meaningless. It has direction, and they have a role to play. This sense of purpose keeps them motivated even in difficult times. They're not just surviving, they're living with intention. That mindset shows up in their health outcomes. People with strong spiritual or philosophical beliefs tend to live longer and recover from illness faster. The Amish are living proof that what you believe shapes how you feel, and how you feel shapes how you live. Clean air and outdoor time. Most people spend 90% of their day indoors. The Amish flip that ratio. 70 to 80% of their time is spent outside. Not by choice in the sense of, I should get fresh air today. It's just where their life happens. Farming, feeding animals, tending gardens, walking to neighbors, working on repairs. Everything takes place under open sky. Their lungs are constantly filled with fresh, clean air instead of recycled, filtered indoor air that often contains dust, mold, and pollutants. Indoor air quality can be 2 to 5 times worse than outdoor air. The Amish avoid this by simply not being indoors much. Sunlight exposure is another massive benefit. Natural light regulates circadian rhythm, boosts vitamin D production, and improves mood. Seasonal depression is rare among the Amish because they're getting consistent sun exposure year-round. Even in winter, they're outside. The cold doesn't stop them. They bundle up and keep moving. Compare that to people who go from a dark house to a car to a fluorescent-lit office and back again. The lack of natural light disrupts sleep, weakens immunity, and creates a mental fog that feels normal but isn't. Their immune systems are constantly stimulated by outdoor exposure: dirt, plants, animals, weather. These introduce the body to a variety of microbes that train the immune system to respond appropriately. Children raised on Amish farms have significantly lower rates of asthma and allergies compared to children raised in sterile indoor environments. The hygiene hypothesis suggests that early exposure to diverse microbes strengthens immunity. The Amish lifestyle proves it. Their kids play in dirt, handle animals, and breathe fresh air. Their immune systems develop robustly instead of overreacting to harmless substances. Outdoor time also reduces stress in ways that indoor environments can't replicate. Nature lowers cortisol, reduces blood pressure, and calms the nervous system. Even short walks in green spaces show measurable improvements in mental health. The Amish aren't walking through city parks. They're surrounded by fields, trees, and open land all day. That constant connection to nature keeps their baseline stress levels low. They don't need to schedule forest bathing or plan weekend hikes. Nature is just where they live. That constant exposure keeps them grounded, healthy, and mentally sharp. Limited sugar, natural sweets. Sugar's everywhere in modern food, hidden in bread, added to sauces, packed into snacks. The average person consumes 17 teaspoons of added sugar daily without realizing it. The Amish avoid this entirely because processed food doesn't make it into their homes. When they want something sweet, they use maple syrup, honey, or fruit. These are natural sugars that come with fiber, vitamins, and minerals. The body processes them differently than refined white sugar, which spikes blood glucose and triggers insulin surges. They describe refined sugar as something that spoils the blood, and they're not wrong. Excess sugar promotes inflammation, damages blood vessels, and contributes to insulin resistance. Over time, this leads to diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic dysfunction. The Amish sidestep these issues because their sugar intake is minimal and comes from whole sources. Maple syrup tapped from their own trees, honey harvested from their hives, apples picked from their orchards. These sweeteners satisfy cravings without causing the metabolic chaos that processed sugar creates. Children grow up with a different palate. They're not conditioned to crave intensely sweet flavors. An apple tastes like a treat because it's the sweetest thing they regularly eat. Compare that to kids raised on candy, soda, and sugary cereals. Their taste buds become desensitized, and whole foods taste bland by comparison. The Amish kids don't have that problem. Natural flavors are enough. This sets them up for healthier eating patterns that last a lifetime. They don't struggle with sugar addiction because they were never exposed to it in the first place. This balance prevents the blood sugar roller coaster that exhausts the pancreas and drains energy. Steady glucose levels mean steady energy. No midday crashes, no desperate need for snacks, no irritability from hunger. The Amish eat meals, feel satisfied, and move on with their day. They're not battling cravings or fighting their own biology. Their relationship with food is straightforward. They eat what they grow, and what they grow doesn't include anything designed to hijack their appetite. That simplicity keeps them healthy without needing willpower or discipline. Water from the source. Tap water in many places is treated with chlorine, fluoride, and other chemicals. It's safe to drink, but it's not the same as water straight from the earth. The Amish drink from wells or springs that pull water directly from underground sources. This water is naturally filtered through layers of rock and soil, which enriches it with minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium. These minerals support bone health, muscle function, and cardiovascular stability. Drinking mineralized water every day gives the body micronutrients that most people lack. They store water in glass jars or steel containers. Never plastic. Plastic leaches chemicals, especially when exposed to heat or sunlight. BPA and phthalates are endocrine disruptors that mimic hormones and interfere with reproductive health. The Amish avoid this risk entirely by sticking with materials that don't degrade or contaminate what they hold. Their water stays pure because they don't introduce anything harmful into the storage process. It's a small detail, but it adds up over decades. Drinking 8 glasses of water a day is easier when the water actually tastes like something. Hydration is consistent because water is always available and always clean. They don't rely on sugary drinks for fluid intake. No soda, no energy drinks, no flavored waters with artificial sweeteners. Just water. This keeps their kidneys functioning optimally, their skin healthy, and their digestion smooth. Dehydration causes headaches, fatigue, and poor concentration. The Amish avoid these issues because drinking water is habitual, not something they have to remind themselves to do. The quality of their water also supports long-term heart health. Mineral-rich water has been linked to lower rates of cardiovascular disease. Magnesium, in particular, helps regulate blood pressure and prevents arterial stiffness. The Amish aren't taking supplements to get these benefits. They're getting them from the water they drink every day. It's another example of how their lifestyle naturally provides what the body needs without requiring conscious effort or expensive interventions. Good water is foundational, and they've never compromised on it. Consistent meal times. Breakfast happens at the same time every morning. Dinner at midday. Supper in the evening. The clock doesn't change. The routine stays fixed. This regularity trains the digestive system to prepare for food at specific times. Stomach acid production ramps up, enzymes get released, and the body enters a state ready to process nutrients. When meals are erratic, the digestive system stays in a reactive mode, which makes nutrient absorption less efficient and increases the risk of indigestion. Snacking between meals doesn't happen. 3 meals a day, nothing in between. This gives the digestive system time to fully process food before the next meal arrives. It also keeps insulin levels stable. Constant snacking causes insulin to spike repeatedly throughout the day, which can lead to insulin resistance over time. The Amish avoid this by eating substantial meals that keep them satisfied for hours. They're not grazing all day or relying on quick fixes to manage hunger. Their bodies know when food is coming, so hunger cues stay predictable and manageable. This schedule also supports better metabolism. The body becomes efficient at using food for energy when it's fed consistently. Feast or famine eating patterns confuse the metabolism and encourage fat storage. The Amish don't deal with that because their eating rhythm is steady. They're not dieting, restricting, or overeating. They're just eating at regular intervals, and their bodies respond positively. Weight stays stable, energy stays consistent, and digestion stays smooth. Eating together at fixed times also reinforces community and slows the pace of meals. No one is rushing through food alone in front of a screen. They sit, talk, and chew properly. Digestion starts in the mouth, where enzymes and saliva begin breaking down food. Chewing thoroughly makes the stomach's job easier and improves nutrient absorption. The Amish aren't mindlessly shoveling food in while distracted. They're present with their meals, which makes a measurable difference in how well their bodies process what they eat. Routine isn't boring, it's stabilizing. Physical work. Till old age, retirement doesn't exist in the Amish world. There's no age where people stop contributing and spend their days idle. Even in their 70s and 80s, they're doing light work, tending gardens, mending clothes, watching grandchildren, helping with small tasks. The work adjusts to their capabilities, but it never stops completely. This keeps them mentally sharp and physically functional far longer than people who retire and stop moving. The fastest way to rust a machine is to leave it sitting unused. The same applies to the human body. Staying useful gives purpose, and purpose is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. Studies show that people with a sense of purpose live longer and have lower rates of cognitive decline. The Amish don't struggle with this because their role in the community never disappears. They're always needed, always contributing, always part of something bigger than themselves. That sense of relevance keeps them engaged with life instead of withdrawing from it. Physical activity in old age prevents the joint stiffness and muscle loss that many people accept as inevitable. The Amish keep their joints mobile because they're using them every day. Light work keeps muscles engaged, which prevents atrophy. Balance improves when you're moving regularly, which reduces the risk of falls. Falls are one of the leading causes of injury and death in the elderly, but the Amish avoid them by maintaining strength and coordination through consistent activity. Their definition of rest is balance, not inactivity. They take breaks when needed, but they don't stop moving entirely. This approach keeps their bodies adaptable and resilient. They're not pushing through pain or ignoring their limits. They're adjusting their activity level to match their current abilities while still staying active. This gradual adjustment is sustainable. It doesn't wear them down or cause injury. It just keeps them functional, engaged, and healthy well into old age. Purpose and movement go hand in hand, and together they create a life that doesn't fade quietly. Community connection. No one in an Amish community is isolated. Everyone has neighbors, family, and friends who check in regularly. If someone is struggling, help arrives without needing to be asked. A barn needs raising, and dozens of people show up. A family is dealing with illness, and meals appear. A widow needs firewood, and it gets delivered. This isn't charity. It's how life works. Everyone supports everyone, and no one falls through the cracks. Social bonds protect mental health in powerful ways. Loneliness increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and even physical illness. The Amish don't deal with loneliness because they're surrounded by people who care. Regular face-to-face interaction keeps the mind engaged and the emotions balanced. They're not scrolling through social media pretending connection exists. They're sitting across from real people, having real conversations, building real relationships. Elders are respected and integrated into daily life. They're not shipped off to nursing homes and forgotten. They live with family or nearby, and their wisdom is valued. Grandparents help raise children, share stories, and contribute to the household. This intergenerational connection benefits everyone. Kids learn from experience, elders stay mentally active, and the family unit remains strong. The isolation that many elderly people face simply doesn't exist in Amish culture. Shared responsibility builds emotional security. People know they're not alone in facing life's challenges. There's always someone to lean on, someone to help, someone who understands. This collective approach reduces stress and creates a sense of safety that's rare in modern life. The Amish don't rely on therapists or medications to manage mental health. They rely on each other. That connection is medicine in itself. It keeps them grounded, supported, and resilient through every stage of life. Laughing. Often, living longer. Laughter is a daily event in Amish life. Not forced or fake, but genuine and spontaneous. While working, during meals, at gatherings, stories get shared, jokes land, and people laugh together. Humor lightens the weight of hard work and keeps the day from feeling heavy. There's no pressure to be serious all the time. Joy is part of the routine, not something reserved for special occasions. The health benefits of laughter are well documented. It lowers stress hormones like cortisol, boosts immune function, and releases endorphins that improve mood. Laughter increases blood flow and relaxes muscles. It even burns a small amount of calories. The Amish aren't laughing because it's healthy. They're laughing because life is lighter when you do, but the health benefits show up anyway. They share stories instead of staring at screens. Conversation is the main form of entertainment. Someone remembers a funny incident from years ago, and everyone laughs again. Kids play games that involve running, chasing, and shouting. Adults joke while they work. Humor is woven into the fabric of daily life. It's not scheduled or planned. It just happens because the environment allows for it. Someone once said that laughter is the best medicine. The Amish took that seriously and prescribed it 3 times a day. Happiness isn't treated as a destination or a goal. It's found in small moments. A good harvest, a shared meal, a solved problem, a well-told joke. These moments add up. The Amish don't chase happiness through purchases or achievements. They find it in the everyday rhythm of life. That approach keeps their baseline mood stable and positive. They're not waiting for something big to make them happy. They're already there, one small moment at a time. Laughter is the soundtrack to that life, and it keeps their hearts light. Forgiveness and calmness. Holding grudges is seen as spiritually and physically harmful in Amish culture. Forgiveness isn't just encouraged, it's expected. When someone wrongs you, you forgive them. Not because it's easy, but because carrying anger damages you more than the person who caused it. This practice is rooted in faith, but the health benefits are undeniable. Chronic anger raises blood pressure, increases inflammation, and weakens the immune system. Resentment keeps the body in a constant state of stress, which wears down every system over time. The Amish release that burden through forgiveness. They don't replay arguments in their heads or plot revenge. They let go. This mental and emotional release keeps their stress hormones balanced and their minds clear. Studies on forgiveness show that people who practice it regularly have lower rates of heart disease, better sleep, and less chronic pain. The Amish believe forgiveness improves health as much as food does. It's treated as essential, not optional. When conflict arises, it gets addressed quickly. They don't let tension fester for weeks or years. Issues are talked through, apologies are made, and life moves forward. This prevents the slow poison of unresolved anger from taking root. Their communities stay peaceful because no one is carrying old wounds that influence every interaction. Emotional release keeps their minds calm. They're not ruminating on past slights or worrying about future confrontations. The mental space that bitterness would occupy stays open for more productive thoughts. This clarity shows up in their decision-making, their relationships, and their overall outlook. They approach life with a calmness that isn't manufactured or forced. It's the natural result of not holding on to what no longer serves them. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's self-preservation. Modesty in everything. The Amish practice moderation in ways most people never consider. They eat until satisfied, not stuffed. Meals are filling, but no one gorges themselves. There's no competition to see who can consume the most. Food is fuel and pleasure, but it's not worshipped or overindulged. This natural portion control prevents the digestive discomfort and weight gain that come from overeating. Their bodies process what they need and nothing more. Dress is simple and functional. Clothes are made to last, designed for work, and comfortable. There's no obsession with appearance or fashion trends. This removes the mental burden of constant comparison and the financial drain of keeping up with changing styles. They're not spending time worrying about how they look because everyone dresses similarly. That mental energy goes toward more meaningful pursuits. Modesty in dress isn't about restriction, it's about eliminating unnecessary distraction. This moderation extends to speech, spending, and emotions. They don't speak excessively or dominate conversations. Money is spent carefully on what's needed, not on impulse. Emotional reactions are measured. Anger, excitement, sadness. These are felt, but they're not amplified or dramatized. There's a steadiness to how they experience life. They're not chasing highs or avoiding lows. They exist somewhere in the middle, which creates stability and prevents burnout. Most people burn out trying to have it all. The Amish avoid burnout by not wanting it all in the first place. This approach prevents the diseases that come from excess: obesity, diabetes, heart disease. These conditions are largely driven by too much food, too much stress, too much of everything. The Amish avoid them by practicing restraint naturally. It's not a diet or a challenge. It's just how they live. Moderation isn't deprivation, it's balance. And balance is what keeps the body functioning well for decades without breaking down. Natural sun therapy. The Amish spend short, consistent periods in the sun every single day. Morning light hits their eyes as soon as they wake, signaling to their brains that the day has started. This resets their circadian rhythm and helps regulate sleep-wake cycles. Throughout the day, they're exposed to natural light while working outdoors. No artificial lighting needed. Their bodies produce vitamin D efficiently because sun exposure is constant and adequate. Vitamin D is critical for bone health, immune function, and mood regulation. Deficiency is linked to depression, weakened immunity, and increased risk of chronic disease. The Amish don't supplement vitamin D because they don't need to. Their lifestyle provides it naturally. Spending time outdoors isn't something they schedule. It's unavoidable. The sun becomes a daily source of health without any conscious effort. They're not obsessed with sunscreen. Moderate sun exposure is seen as beneficial, not dangerous. Obviously, they're not baking in the midday heat for hours. They work during cooler parts of the day and wear hats when needed, but they're not avoiding the sun like it's toxic. Short exposures build melanin, which provides natural protection. Their skin adapts over time, becoming more resilient without relying on chemical barriers. Morning sunlight specifically improves mental health. Light exposure early in the day boosts serotonin production, which enhances mood and focus. It also helps melatonin production later in the evening, which improves sleep quality. The Amish benefit from this cycle without thinking about it. They wake with the sun, work under the sun, and sleep when the sun sets. Their bodies stay synchronized with natural light patterns, which keeps their energy stable and their minds clear. Sun therapy isn't a wellness trend for them, it's just life. Homegrown medicine cabinet. Aloe sits on the windowsill. Garlic hangs in the kitchen. Apple cider vinegar stays in the cupboard. These aren't decorations, they're tools. When someone gets a burn, aloe gets sliced open and applied. When a cold starts, garlic tea gets brewed. When digestion feels sluggish, a spoonful of vinegar in water gets swallowed. These basic remedies handle 90% of what a typical medicine cabinet is supposed to fix. Garlic has natural antibacterial and antiviral properties. It's been used for centuries to fight infections, and modern research confirms its effectiveness. The Amish don't wait for a study to tell them it works. They've seen it work for generations. Aloe cools burns and promotes skin healing faster than most over-the-counter creams. Apple cider vinegar aids digestion by increasing stomach acid, which helps break down food more efficiently. These aren't miracle cures. They're practical, reliable remedies that work when used correctly. The difference between this approach and modern healthcare is timing. The Amish treat issues early. A scratchy throat gets attention immediately. A minor cut gets cleaned and covered properly. They don't wait for small problems to become big ones. This prevention-first mindset keeps illnesses rare and manageable. By the time most people reach for medicine, the problem has already escalated. The Amish intervene early with simple, effective remedies. A garlic clove a day keeps more than just vampires away. It also keeps the pharmacist wondering where you went. This reliance on home remedies creates independence. They're not dependent on stores, prescriptions, or medical appointments for everyday health issues. They handle most problems themselves with what they already have. This builds confidence and reduces the anxiety that comes from feeling helpless when something goes wrong. Their health management is proactive, accessible, and rooted in knowledge passed down through families. It's not perfect, but it works. And it works without side effects, costs, or complexity. Mental rest through manual work. Manual work clears the mind in ways that mental work never can. Sewing, whittling, gardening, chopping wood. These tasks require focus, but not the kind that drains you. Your hands are busy, your body is engaged, and your mind settles into a rhythm. Problems that seemed overwhelming suddenly feel manageable. Solutions appear without forcing them. The Amish solve problems while working, not by sitting and overthinking. This kind of work acts as meditation in motion. Repetitive tasks create a state of flow where the mind quiets and stress fades. You're present with what you're doing, not ruminating on the past or worrying about the future. The act of creating or maintaining something tangible gives a sense of accomplishment that office work rarely provides. You can see what you've done. A repaired fence, a finished quilt, a stacked pile of firewood. That visible progress feeds motivation and satisfaction. Anxiety levels stay low because the mind isn't constantly racing. Modern life encourages overthinking. Every decision gets analyzed, every outcome gets predicted, every possibility gets explored. The Amish skip that mental loop. They engage their hands, which disengages the part of the brain that spirals into worry. Manual work provides a mental break that feels productive instead of lazy. You're not avoiding problems. You're processing them differently. The Amish don't sit still and stress. They channel tension into physical action. When something bothers them, they work through it. Literally. The movement, the focus, the tangible results. These combine to reduce mental strain naturally. They don't need therapy apps or mindfulness courses. They have work that serves the same purpose without requiring any extra effort. Mental rest doesn't mean stopping. It means shifting focus to something that lets the mind recover while still being useful. Minimal dependence on doctors. Doctors exist for emergencies in Amish culture. Broken bones, serious infections, complicated births. These situations require professional medical care, and they seek it. But for everyday aches, minor illnesses, or general discomfort, doctors aren't the first call. Their prevention-first mindset keeps most health issues from developing in the first place. When you eat well, move daily, sleep properly, and manage stress, there's less that goes wrong. They trust observation. The body gives signals long before it breaks. Fatigue means rest is needed. Stiffness means movement is needed. Digestive issues mean diet needs adjusting. They respond to these signals early instead of ignoring them until a crisis forces action. This awareness keeps small issues from becoming chronic conditions. They're tuned into their bodies in ways that people disconnected from physical work often aren't. Balance is their first line of defense. Not medication, not interventions, just balance. Proper food, adequate rest, consistent activity, emotional stability. These foundations prevent most of the health problems that fill doctors' offices. The Amish aren't healthier because they have better genetics. They're healthier because their lifestyle supports health instead of undermining it. Modern medicine is incredible at treating disease, but the Amish rarely need it because they're not creating disease through poor lifestyle choices. This approach saves money, time, and stress. No endless appointments, no waiting rooms, no insurance battles. Health is managed at home through daily habits that prevent problems instead of reacting to them. When intervention is needed, it's decisive and appropriate. They're not avoiding care, they're just not depending on it for things their bodies can handle naturally. The result is a population that stays healthier longer with less medical involvement. Prevention beats treatment every time. Gratitude before and after meals. Every meal begins with a pause. Hands fold, heads bow, and a moment of silence or spoken prayer gives thanks. It's not performative. It's genuine appreciation for the food, the hands that prepared it, and the work that grew it. This mental shift creates mindfulness. You're not rushing into eating. You're acknowledging the meal and preparing your mind and body to receive it. Gratitude after meals serves a similar purpose. The meal is finished, the body is satisfied, and thanks are given again. This bookends the eating experience with intention. It slows everything down and creates space for digestion to begin properly. When you eat in a calm, grateful state, the parasympathetic nervous system activates. This is the rest and digest mode that allows the stomach and intestines to function optimally. Stress suppresses digestion. Gratitude activates it. Saying grace before meals is the original mindfulness practice. No app required. Research shows that gratitude reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that interferes with digestion and nutrient absorption. People who practice gratitude regularly report better sleep, lower anxiety, and improved overall health. The Amish experience these benefits without framing it as a wellness technique. It's just part of their faith and daily routine. The health outcomes follow naturally. This practice also increases satisfaction with meals. When you pause to appreciate what you're eating, you enjoy it more. You eat slower, chew better, and feel full sooner. Gratitude prevents mindless eating and overconsumption. It makes every meal feel intentional instead of automatic. The Amish aren't eating to fill time or distract themselves. They're eating with purpose, presence, and thankfulness. That shift in mindset improves both the physical and emotional experience of food. Lifelong purpose. Every Amish person has a role. Children help with chores, teenagers learn trades, adults work and raise families, elders guide, teach, and contribute in whatever capacity they can. No one reaches an age where they're told their usefulness has expired. Purpose doesn't retire. It adapts, but it never disappears. This continuous sense of contribution keeps people engaged with life instead of withdrawing from it. Purpose is one of the most powerful predictors of longevity. Studies consistently show that people with a strong sense of purpose live longer, have better cognitive function, and recover from illness faster. The Amish don't need studies. They live it. They wake up every day knowing they have something meaningful to do. That motivation keeps them moving, thinking, and connecting. It prevents the mental and physical decline that often comes when people stop feeling needed. Even at 80, an Amish elder has value. They watch grandchildren, share wisdom, help with light tasks, and participate in community decisions. Their experience matters. Their presence matters. They're not sidelined or forgotten. This integration keeps them mentally sharp because they're still learning, adapting, and contributing. The brain stays active when it's being used. Purpose provides that constant stimulation without requiring forced effort. Working, teaching, guiding, creating. These activities continue until the very end. The Amish don't fade quietly into irrelevance. They remain active participants in life. That engagement is the real cure for aging. Not anti-aging creams, not supplements, not surgeries. Just purpose, a reason to wake up, a reason to stay involved, a reason to care. Purpose keeps the body moving and the mind alive. It's the thread that ties all their health practices together and gives them meaning beyond just physical survival. Real human bonds. Loneliness has become an epidemic in modern society, with health consequences as serious as smoking or obesity. But this is virtually unknown in Amish communities. Their social structure ensures that every person has multiple meaningful connections and regular face-to-face interactions throughout each day. These aren't superficial social media connections, but deep relationships built through shared work, worship, and daily life experiences. Amish people don't need LinkedIn because their entire community already knows their work history, references, and whether they show up on time. The extended family system means that multiple generations live close to each other and interact regularly. Grandparents aren't isolated in assisted living facilities, but remain integral parts of daily family life. This arrangement benefits everyone involved. Older adults stay mentally and physically active by contributing to household activities, while younger family members benefit from experience, guidance, and additional support. Their barn-raising tradition perfectly illustrates how community bonds serve practical and emotional needs simultaneously. When a family needs a new barn, the entire community shows up to help build it in a single day. This cooperation creates strong social ties while accomplishing necessary work, proving that humans are naturally designed to work together rather than struggle alone. Regular community gatherings for worship, meals, and celebrations ensure that social connections are maintained consistently. These aren't formal social events that require planning and preparation, but natural parts of weekly life that happen automatically. This regular social contact helps prevent the isolation that can lead to depression and cognitive decline in older adults. The Amish support system also includes practical help during difficult times. When someone becomes ill or faces financial hardship, community members naturally step in to provide assistance. This safety net reduces the stress and anxiety that can come from facing life's challenges alone, and knowing that help is available allows people to take appropriate risks and live more fully. Their approach to conflict resolution also strengthens social bonds rather than destroying them. Instead of avoiding difficult conversations or ending relationships over disagreements, Amish communities have established processes for addressing conflicts directly and working toward forgiveness and reconciliation. This means that relationships can survive and even grow stronger through difficult periods rather than being abandoned at the first sign of trouble. Keep faith strong. Religious faith provides structure and meaning that contribute significantly to both mental and physical health outcomes in Amish communities. Their spiritual practices aren't separated from daily life, but integrated into work, family relationships, and community activities. This integration creates a comprehensive worldview that helps them navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and less anxiety than people without strong belief systems. Studies consistently show that people with active religious faith live longer, have lower rates of depression, and recover more quickly from serious illnesses. The reasons for these health benefits are complex and include both the social support that comes from religious communities and the psychological benefits of having a sense of purpose and meaning in life. The Amish approach to faith emphasizes practical service rather than abstract theology. Their religious beliefs translate directly into actions like helping neighbors, caring for the elderly, and maintaining strong family relationships. This practical application of spiritual principles creates tangible benefits in daily life rather than just providing comfort during difficult times. Prayer and meditation, which are regular parts of Amish spiritual practice, have been scientifically proven to reduce stress hormones, lower blood pressure, and improve immune system function. These practices provide regular opportunities for mental rest and reflection that can help process daily challenges and maintain emotional balance. Their faith also provides a framework for understanding suffering and difficulty that helps them cope with life's inevitable hardships. Instead of viewing illness, aging, or loss as meaningless tragedies, their spiritual beliefs provide context and comfort that can reduce the psychological trauma of difficult experiences. This doesn't mean they don't grieve or struggle, but rather that they have resources for finding meaning and hope even in challenging circumstances. The weekly rhythm of worship also provides regular opportunities for community connection and reflection. Sunday services bring the entire community together for shared spiritual experiences that reinforce social bonds while providing time for contemplation and renewal. This weekly reset helps maintain both individual and community health over the long term. Respecting rest. The Amish understanding of rest goes far beyond just getting enough sleep at night. They have built rest periods into their daily and weekly routines, recognizing that the human body and mind need regular recovery time to function optimally. This isn't laziness or lack of productivity, but rather a sophisticated understanding of how to maintain high performance over an entire lifetime. The Amish invented the original power nap. They just called it resting your eyes during the hottest part of the day and somehow made it last exactly 20 minutes. Afternoon naps are common and accepted in many Amish communities, especially during hot summer months or after particularly demanding morning work. Research shows that short naps can improve alertness, memory, and mood while reducing the risk of heart disease. The Amish have practiced this healthy habit for generations, long before sleep scientists confirmed its benefits. Their weekly Sabbath observance also provides regular mental and physical rest. One day each week is set aside for worship, family time, and relaxation, giving both mind and body a chance to recover from the previous week's activities. This regular rest period helps prevent the burnout and chronic fatigue that affect many people who work continuously without adequate breaks. Unlike modern society's obsession with constant productivity, the Amish have mastered the art of guilt-free rest. They understand that taking breaks isn't a sign of weakness, but a strategic investment in long-term health and effectiveness. Their rest periods are intentional and structured, not random or reactive. This disciplined approach to rest creates a sustainable rhythm that allows them to work intensively when needed while avoiding the crashes that come from chronic overexertion. They've learned that pushing through exhaustion diminishes both the quality and quantity of work output, making strategic rest a practical necessity rather than a luxury. Seasonal rhythms also influence their approach to rest and activity. Winter months naturally involve less intensive outdoor work, allowing for more indoor activities, reflection, and recovery. This seasonal variation in activity levels mimics natural human rhythms and helps prevent the constant high-stress pace that characterizes much of modern life. The Amish also recognize that different life stages require different amounts of rest and activity. Older community members aren't expected to maintain the same work pace as young adults, but they're also not completely retired from useful activity. This graduated approach to aging allows people to remain productive and engaged while respecting the body's changing needs over time. Their approach to rest includes listening to the body signals rather than pushing through fatigue or discomfort. When someone is tired, sick, or recovering from injury, the community supports them in taking the time needed for proper healing. This prevents minor issues from becoming major health problems and helps maintain long-term health and productivity. Clean air, clear lungs. Living away from industrial centers and major highways provides the Amish with air quality that most urban and suburban residents never experience. Their rural locations mean they breathe air with significantly lower levels of particulate matter, nitrogen oxides, and other pollutants that contribute to respiratory disease and overall health problems. This clean air advantage starts at birth and continues throughout their entire lives. Air pollution has been linked to asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. The World Health Organization estimates that air pollution causes millions of premature deaths annually, with most of these occurring in heavily polluted urban areas. The Amish rarely face these pollution-related health risks simply because of where they choose to live. Their agricultural lifestyle also means they're constantly outdoors, breathing fresh air and getting plenty of oxygen to their cells. Indoor air quality in modern homes and offices can actually be worse than outdoor air due to chemical off-gassing from furniture, carpets, and building materials, plus poor ventilation systems. The Amish spend much of their time in well-ventilated spaces or outdoors entirely, avoiding these indoor air quality issues. The quality of air they breathe isn't just about location, it's also about lifestyle choices that minimize exposure to synthetic chemicals and artificial fragrances. Their homes rely on natural ventilation rather than complex HVAC systems that can harbor mold and circulate stale air. Wood-burning stoves provide heat while creating natural air circulation that keeps indoor environments fresh. They avoid aerosols, synthetic air fresheners, and chemical cleaning products that release volatile organic compounds into their living spaces. This commitment to natural air extends to their agricultural practices, where they avoid synthetic pesticides and fertilizers that can create airborne toxins, ensuring that even their work environment maintains exceptional air quality. Working outdoors also provides regular exposure to natural elements that can strengthen the immune system. Some research suggests that exposure to diverse environmental microorganisms, which is common in agricultural settings, helps train the immune system and reduces the risk of allergies and autoimmune conditions. The overly sanitized indoor environments that most people live in might actually weaken immune function over time. The absence of industrial chemicals and synthetic materials in their immediate environment also reduces their exposure to potential toxins. While modern life surrounds us with thousands of synthetic chemicals whose long-term health effects aren't fully understood, the Amish live in environments that are much closer to what human beings evolved to handle. Their clean air advantage extends to sleep quality as well. Fresh, clean air improves oxygen saturation during sleep, which enhances the body's ability to repair and regenerate tissues overnight. This contributes to better recovery from daily activities and helps maintain physical and mental performance throughout life. Keep learning, even old. Mental stimulation doesn't end with formal education in Amish communities, but continues throughout entire lifetimes through teaching, reading, and practical problem solving. Older adults remain intellectually engaged by passing on their knowledge and skills to younger generations, which keeps their minds sharp while providing valuable guidance to the community. This intergenerational learning system benefits everyone involved and helps prevent the cognitive decline that often comes with aging. The Amish tradition of oral history and storytelling ensures that older community members have important roles as keepers and transmitters of knowledge. They don't become irrelevant when they can no longer perform heavy physical labor, but instead transition into teaching and advisory roles that utilize their accumulated wisdom and experience. The Amish remind us that staying healthy doesn't have to be complicated. Their simple tricks come from living close to nature, eating real food, and keeping the body in steady motion. It's a lifestyle built on patience and purpose, not shortcuts or trends. In the end, true wellness isn't found in what's new. It's in the quiet, consistent habits that have worked for generations.